Hi, I'm Christina, the teen librarian at the Stowe Monroe Falls Public Library. I'm coming to you today from my beautiful home library, and I thought I'd talk to you about a few books that I've read recently. Hopefully you are also reading some good books at home, and I want to hear all about them. So make sure you comment in the comments or send me a message so we can talk about books. The Girl I Used to Be by April Henry. 14 years ago, Ariel's mother was brutally murdered in the woods, and her father disappeared. But Ariel survived. She was only 3 at the time, and someone, possibly the murderer, left her at a Walmart. She's been through the foster care system and has moved. Now she's 17 and emancipated, so she lives on her own in a different town, and she's changed her name because everyone assumes that her father killed her mother, and he might try to find her again. But now the police have come to tell her that her father's remains have been found in that same woods. So it looks less likely that he killed her mother, but no one knows for sure. And they're going to hold a funeral for her father. So Ariel decides maybe she can go to that funeral, but pretending to be someone else, as she has been for years anyway, so that she can snoop around and try to investigate. Because maybe some of her parents' former friends from back then might know something. But she also has to keep her identity a secret, because if he didn't kill her mom, then the real murderer is still out there, and sure enough, maybe after her. Fireborne by Rosaria Munda. You know that I love a good fantasy book, and this is an excellent one. Annie and Lee were just children when a brutal revolution changed their whole world. It gave everyone, even the lowborn, a chance to become a dragon rider. The dragon riders are called guardians, and they help the ruling first protector to keep order in the city. Now they are both rising stars in the regime, despite their different backgrounds. Annie's from a lowborn family, and she saw her whole family executed by a dragon lord using dragon fire. While Lee's family was from the aristocratic class, his father was actually a dragon lord, and his whole family was murdered by the revolutionaries when they took over and changed the regime. Annie and Lee became friends growing up in an orphanage, where Lee kept his aristocratic background hidden so no one knows. And 7 years of training have made them both elite dragon riders, and now they're competing against each other to become first rider, to have the top spot in the dragon riding fleet. But everything changes when some survivors of the old regime show up, and they are flying dragons, and they are bent on revenge. They want to take back their city from the revolutionaries. So war is coming. And Lee has to choose between killing the only family he's ever known or betraying everything that he believes in now, because he has now become more of an egalitarian person, and he understands that all the classes should be kind of equal. Annie must choose between protecting the boy she loves, because she's the only one who knows his real background, and that would make him an enemy. Or will she step up to become a champion that her city needs? This is a great book with lots of world building, really cool dragons, different species of dragons and how they react to each other. You get the whole backstory of the horrific things that happened to Lee and Annie in their childhood and how they're trying to get through that. They have nightmares still. There's a great romance in it, but there's also some politics, and just the whole world building is really fascinating. So that's Fireborne. Dear Rachel Maddow by Adrian Kistner. About the only constant in Bryn's life is the Rachel Maddow show. She wrote to her as part of a school project where she had to write to a celebrity hero, and she actually got a reply back. And then she started writing draft emails that she doesn't actually send to Rachel Maddow, but she uses them as a form of a journal where she pours out everything that's going wrong in her life, about her breakup with her first serious girlfriend, about her older brother Nick's death, and her horrible home life because her mom is just passive and doesn't like her and doesn't help her in any way. And she's married to the fart weasel, who is her horrible stepfather. And she's stuck in remedial classes. She used to be a better student, but after her brother's death, things kind of spiraled downhill. And now she's in these remedial classes. She has a great peer tutor. Lacey is a great character in a wheelchair who helps her out a lot. But in general, she's just not doing so great in school. In fact, she's considering dropping out. She's a junior and she's going to be 18 soon. And she thinks, you know, I could do better just by working my job selling underwear at the local Erie store. But then it is announced that at school, there is going to be a student elected as a representative, well, chosen as a representative to the selection committee to choose a new superintendent for schools. So the administrative people have decided they'll let a student have a say in choosing the new school superintendent. Well, Bryn's arch nemesis is a boy named Adam. He's in the honors classes. He's very snobby. And he and her ex-girlfriend, Sarah, both feel that only an honor student really deserves the opportunity to be on this student selection committee. And Bryn is like, wait a minute. What about the rest of us? The average student, the remedial students, everybody in school ought to have a say. Why don't you have an election instead of just choosing one person from the honors group? And so she decides, she's never really been into politics or into standing up for things. But the more she thinks about this, the more she gets mad, the more she thinks, what would Rachel Maddow do? And she decides that she's going to put her hat in the ring to run for this spot, and that she's going to petition to get an election so that everyone can have a chance to join. So now there's campaigning going on at the school. And this leads from one thing to another. Then we have the student government elections, and Bryn decides also that maybe she's just going to run for student body president also. Things start to build because there's lots of dirty tricks and dirty politics going on in this campaign. And she's got relationship issues with Sarah and with a new girl that she really, really likes. Things at home, again, spiraling, not so good. School, trying to keep up with school, because especially she wants to be able to be back on the school newspaper, but you have to have a certain minimum GPA to do that. And she, no matter how hard she tries, she's really, really having a hard time keeping her studies up. If she can get back on the school newspaper, she can continue her investigative work, because she was working on a really important story about an arson fire in town. And she feels like she's missing her opportunity there. So this is a really, really great book. It's funny because the narrator, Bryn, she reminded me a little bit of the main character in Speak by Laurie Halse Anderson, if you've ever read that book. She's sarcastic a little bit. She's very funny. She's a little foul-mouthed, so just so you know, some realistic language. But really, she has a lot of great observations about things, and is just trying to hold it together, It's just one of those kinds of books. So great, realistic drama novel, if you're looking for something like that. And so that concludes my book talks for this week. I hope you found something here that you might be interested in reading. And like I said at the top, give me a note in the comments if you are reading something good right now. And stay tuned. I will try to do another one of these next week. Thanks for watching.